Hi YouTube, this is Monique Calso reporting on July 23rd, 2012 at 8 p.m. I just did a whole video on this and YouTube rejected it. So I'm going to try this again. I have to make it shorter, but I've got everything dialed in. What I want to tell you right out of the gate is that we are not this conference here is not what's the problem for us. Obama signing any kind of treaty here, this is not going to take away our Second Amendment. Our Second Amendment has already been taken away, and it's been going on for a long time, since 1997 exactly. So what I want you to see over here is there's a UN Disarmament Commission and a Conference on Disarmament. We click on here, and you find out the story of disarmament. We'll have the links all posted. As you can see, this has been going on for a while. So I went through here, I got the source documents, checked in on 2008, 2011, and I will have all that information for you, and I urge you to go look at it. So I'm going to just start pulling it up here. What I wanted to show you is the main document is this, the program, and the title of the program is the Program of Action to Prevent, Combat, and Eradicate the Illicit Trade in Small Arms and Light Weapons in all of its aspects. All of its aspects. Well, you know, this doesn't sound that bad. Illegal weapons, nobody likes that. Unless, of course, what's made illegal is having any weapons. And unless it's made illegal for citizens to have weapons, according to their Second Amendment. Then this would all apply to us, wouldn't it? So this is a 20-page PDF. I went through it, and like I said, I'll post the link. But I took out the salient points, and it's a lot more concise, even though when I went through it, it took too long in the video, so I'm going to try to go through quickly. It was great commentary, though. It was such a great video. I hate trying to repeat it. Anyway, there's the title. This is the program. I have the section heading, so you can go back and look exactly for yourself. But number 28, to encourage where needed regional and sub-regional action on illicit trade in small arms and light weapons in all its aspects in order to, as appropriate, introduce, adhere, implement, or strengthen relevant laws, regulations, and administrative procedures. So the program is geared towards getting laws passed and getting administrative procedures in place that are going to be in line with their vision. Now, something as a paralegal I want to get you familiar with is legal language is very difficult to understand, but there's something very simple to understand about it, that if the language is broad, then there is broad interpretation. So if specific words are not used and specific words are used, it can have far-reaching effects. What you'll notice about the wording in these documents referring to disarmament is they're very broad. For instance, classic example, in all its aspects, right? Okay, to encourage states to promote safe, effective stockpile management, in particular physical security measures for small arms and light weapons, and to implement where appropriate regional, sub-regional mechanisms in this regard. Number 30, to support where appropriate national disarmament. Wow, that's pretty blunt. Demobilization and reintegration programs, particularly in post-conflict situations, not exclusively, not only, but particularly. That means there and everywhere. That's what the translation is. Also, this is indented by a copy and paste thing that stupid, anyway, Word did, auto thing. Anyway, so we can see that it's not limited to post-conflict situations. 31, to encourage regions to develop where appropriate and on a voluntary basis measures to enhance transparency with a view to combating the illicit trade in small arms and light weapons. Voluntary basis, we'll be getting into this later. Transparency, by the way, means all your information is shared with everybody in every one of the states. By the way, state in these documents means countries, because we are all the United States of the world at the UN, so keep that in mind. Number 3, section heading 3, number 6, with a view to facilitating implementation of program action. States and international and regional organizations should seriously consider assisting interested states upon request in building capacities in areas including the development of appropriate legislation and regulations, law enforcement, tracing and marking, stockpile management, security, destruction of small arms and light weapons, and the collection exchange of information. Just nailing that down really good. Section 11, states undertake to cooperate with each other, including on the basis of the relevant existing global and regionally legally binding instruments. Including, but not only the ones that exist, because they have plans to have new legally binding instruments, as we will see later on, as well as other agreements and arrangements, and where appropriate with relevant international, regional, and intergovernmental agencies such as Interpol in tracing illicit arms, and particularly by strengthening mechanisms based on the exchange of info. States are encouraged to exchange info on a voluntary basis. Particularly in post-conflict situations, but not only, and where appropriate, the relevant regional and international organizations should support, within existing resources, appropriate programs related to the disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration of ex-combatants. Ever heard of a FEMA re-education camp? Okay, anywho. Okay, so in 2008, basically what I'm trying to show you here is that starting in 1997, they have been incrementally dismantling our Second Amendment. And the more cooperation we have with the UN, such as I've heard reports ranging from anywhere from 30,000 to 200,000 UN troops being on U.S. soil right now for training exercises, they could be implemented based on the language of this document to do all of these things that we've just been reading about. So the update in 2008 was on the report. This is under this heading, International Cooperation. States discuss the efforts undertaken to translate them into concrete projects with measurable goals. So they want you to have concrete projects in place, and then they'll help fund you, and the state should make an effort to develop capacity to assess their assistance needs, translate them into concrete projects with measurable. Oh, I did that again. I did that twice. You know, I copied it twice, sorry. In the preparation of national action plans, states could consider including information that clearly specifies the type of international assistance they need and the resources they can mobilize nationally. That's a military term. States could also make increasing use of their national reports. You mean top secret? I guess it just says national reports, so I guess so, as another tool for communicating assistance needs and information on the resources and mechanisms available to address such needs, and the further development of standard elements for reporting, which could facilitate this process. States and international, regional, sub-regional organizations in a position to do so should continue to support the establishment and functioning of national coordination bodies, as they can assist states in mobilizing and coordinating international cooperation. Other issues? During this discussion of Agenda Items 90, without prejudice to the view of any other states and the implementation of the program, let's just go through what the real deal is about. Controls on production and supply. Illicit manufacturing, including unlicensed manufacturing. That would be any private gun makers that the state does not approve of. Prohibiting the supply of small arms and light weapons to non-state actors. Do you know who that means? That means anyone that the state says is not authorized to act. Ooh, that could get really tricky. And terrorists, because you lump them all together, see, they're the same thing in their eyes. End user certification and verification, including standardization, strengthening border controls, monitoring maritime transport. Civilian possession of small arms and light weapons. You mean that's an issue? Oh, I guess so. Ammunition too. Okay, and it goes on. J, linkages between security, armed violence, development, and human rights. A very weird conglomerate of concepts in one sentence, none of which should really have anything to do with each other. Scary. Security sector and governance reform. Ooh, what's a security sector? Private security providers. They're very handy, as are NGOs, because they're perfect for black ops because they're not held to the same level of accountability as a governmental organization, yet they are authorized state actors. And Oops. Anyway, community-based policing. Well, didn't we know that one was coming? Gender perspectives. What? Addressing the special needs of children. In other words, if mommy and daddy has a gun, we might need to help them. Victim assistance, of course, who doesn't want that? Demand and supply issues. Addressing root causes. Root causes such as what? The Second Amendment. Promotion of culture of peace and dialogue. Enhance cooperation among magical stakeholders that we don't know who these people are. Enhance partnerships with civil society and the private sector. In other words, they come into the gun manufacturers and they come into civil groups and they just implement the program. But here's the real good one. X marks the spot, transforming the program into legally binding form. Well, didn't we all know that that's what this was all about? States were encouraged to support the role of the United Nations in promoting the international instrument, that's this program, and in building national capacity for its effective implementation. States were also encouraged to support the role of Interpol in assisting in the implementation of the instrument, which is the program instrument, including the further development and promotion of the Interpol weapons electronic tracing system that's going to have everybody's information. Okay, so then in 2011 they went over their implementation, and here's their report. Again, demand and supply, civilian possession of small arms, transfer of relevant technologies to developing states in a non-discriminatory manner. That means that will be X-ray machines for everyone. That will mean mind-numbing zombification techniques so that people don't even notice you're taking their arms away from them. Just the sky's the limit on that. Relevant technologies, what could it mean? Linkages among security, there's that crazy sentence again. The potential role for more open-ended meetings on the mechanisms of the program. Other issues within the program of action which did not fall within the scope of the main themes, including but not limited to. That means they talked about a bunch of stuff that we don't even know about. Okay, moving right along because they're going to not let me put this up. This is a report. This is the program, actually. Here's a report by the main dude. And what you'll notice in this report is that it starts at number 25. Substantive elements for the outcome. Left a few things out here, and then it just kind of ends, and there's no official language or those issues included the following. Oh, okay, well, we don't know what that was, do we? That's the official report. And then we've got a really good resolution that was adopted. I'm not going to go into these things because I want you to be able to get this video and get to go do the research yourself. So thank you so much for watching, YouTube. By the way, let's reiterate the point. The point is, Obama signing anything on the 27th isn't going to make a hill of beans. They're already implementing disarmament, and the subjugation of the Second Amendment's already been done, people. So we've got a lot of work to do to unravel this web. Thank you for listening.